What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel, Real Talk Recovery, where we talk about recovery from addiction and I share my life with you. My name's Nicole and I'm an addict, and my sobriety date is July 13th of 2015. And on Monday nights, every Monday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, we do a step study together here on my channel. Last year we did the study out of the AA book. This year we're doing it out of the Narcotics Anonymous book. So if that's something you are interested in joining me for, come on in, take a seat, greet your friend, and let's do it together, okay? I hope you guys are all having a great Monday. I am getting over a cold, so my throat is a little raspy and scratchy, but other than that, I feel great. So let's get into step 3 together. Are y'all ready? I'm ready. Step 3, here we go. We made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood Him. We made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood Him. So, first of all, at the beginning of the sentence, it says we. Okay? It doesn't say I, it says we, because recovery it's a together thing. Hey, Kit Kat. All right, love you. We made a decision to turn our will and our lives. So a lot of people are like, will and lives, so what does that mean, right? So will is your thinking. Okay, so if you just cross out will and write down thinking. And then your lives is your actions, the things that you do. Okay, so let's read it like that. We made a decision to turn our thinking and our actions over to the care of God as we understood Him. So let's go down to sentence to God. So a lot of people will see that word and they'll go, God, I don't believe in God. I'm not religious. I don't get down like that. And then they just stop there. They're like, I'm not going to do this program. But if you read past that, it says, as we understood Him. So that means your own understanding of God, your own higher power. It doesn't have to be God. It doesn't have to be Jesus Christ. It doesn't have to be the idea of God that everybody else has. It's your understanding of your higher power, okay? So don't let that word G-O-D deter you guys from following along with us. If you don't believe in God, you can separate that and say God stands for good, orderly direction. Good, orderly direction, okay? All right, now let's get into reading the chapter about step 3. Okay, as addicts, we turned our will and our lives over many times to a destructive power. Our will and our lives were controlled by drugs. We were trapped by our need for instant gratification that drugs gave us. Damn, that's the truth. We were trapped by our need for the instant gratification that drugs gave us. That instant relief, that instant, that changed the way I felt. I was feeling shitty and now I feel high. I feel good, the way I want to feel, right? During that time, our total being, body, mind, and spirit, was dominated by drugs. For a time, it was pleasurable. Then the euphoria began to wear off, and we saw the ugly side of addiction. That's how it always starts out, you guys. It always starts out as fun and games. It's a party. We're just weekend warriors or hanging out with our friends getting high, right? Okay, baby. Okay, Bobby Lynn. Thanks, girl. Hey, Rosie. Hey, Laura. Hey, Cindy. Hey, everybody. I see y'all here. Thanks for being here. I think it starts out for everybody. It's just like maybe it starts out because you're experimenting. Maybe it starts out because, you're hanging out with a group of people that are using and you want to try it too. Maybe it started out because you were prescribed a medication and it was working for a long time. And then all of a sudden it stops working and you're like, well, what will happen if I take 3 instead of 2? What will happen if I take 6 instead of 2? And then that addiction begins, So it always starts out at the beginning as fun and games, and then it grows into something so much more than that. We found that the higher our drugs took us, the lower they brought us. We faced two choices. Either we suffered the pain of withdrawal or we took more drugs. For all of us, the day came when there was no longer a choice. We had to use. So a lot of people don't understand this unless they were drug addicts. When you're an addict and you're using drugs and alcohol, you guys, there comes a day where you're no longer making the choice whether you want to use or not. It's literally like muscle memory. You have to use to be okay. And so you're no longer making that decision saying, hey, today I'm going to go out and get high. The decision is made before you ever get up. The decision is you're already on a mission before your body even gets out of the bed, you know? And so that's what when we talked about that in step 1, when they say that we're powerless, that's what they mean. You lose the power of choice. Having given our will and lives to our addiction in utter desperation, we looked for another way. In Narcotics Anonymous, we decide to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understand Him. This is a giant step. We don't have to be religious. Anyone can take this step. Did you hear that? We don't have to be religious. Anyone can take this step. All that is essential is that we open the door to a power greater than ourselves. All that is required is willingness. So, I know you guys have heard me talk about the 3 indispensables of recovery. Those are honesty, open-mindedness, and willingness. Okay? So, when you're working the steps with your sponsor, you guys, all you have to do is be willing to make a change. That's it. That's all you got to do. And if you can just find a power greater than you, whether it be the group, whether it be your sponsor, whether it be a higher power, as in like Jesus Christ or the universe or nature or altruism, these are all things that you can use as a power that's greater than you. A power that's greater than you is just that. Anything that's greater than you. You're one person. So is 3 people together greater than you? Yes. Okay? Our concept of God comes not from dogma, but from what we believe and from what works for us. Okay? Many of us understand God to be simply whatever force keeps us clean. The right to a God of your own understanding is total and without any catches. Because we have this right, it is necessary to be honest about our belief if we are going to grow spiritually. So there's no reason to feel like you have to lie about what your higher power is, because everyone has their own choice in making their own mind up on what they want the power that's greater than them to be. Okay, so you don't have to choose what everybody else chooses. It's specific to you. We found that all we needed to do was try. That's it. Just try. Just be willing. When we gave our best effort, the program worked for us as it has worked for countless others. The 3rd step does not say we turned our will and our lives over to the care of God. It says we made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood Him. We made the decision. It was not made for us by the drugs, our families, our probation officer, the judge, a therapist, or a doctor. We made that decision. For the first time since that first high, we have made a decision for ourselves. The word decision implies action. This decision is based on faith. We have only to believe that the miracle that we see working in the lives of clean addicts can happen to any addict with a desire to change. We simply realize there is a force for spiritual growth that can help us become more tolerant, patient, and useful in helping others. Many of us have said, "Take my will and my life, guide me in my recovery, and show me how to live." The relief of letting go and letting God helps us develop a life that is worth living. Surrendering to the will of our higher power gets easier with daily practice. So it's not going to just happen overnight. Hey, Ben. And it's going to take practice. It's going to be something that you have to do every single day. So let me share a little bit of my experience with turning my will over. First, let my dog go out pee. Come on. You gotta go potty? Okay. Sorry, I almost fell back. So let me tell you guys about my experience turning my will over and all that good stuff. So every single day, you guys, when I wake up in the morning, I make a decision every day. I make a decision whether or not I'm going to stay sober that day. I make a decision whether or not I'm going to go to work that day. I make a decision whether or not I'm going to make a video that day. I make a decision whether or not I'm going to have a good day or a bad day, right? Every day before I even put my feet on the ground, I'm consciously making a decision in my mind. What's going to happen for that day? How am I going to set my day up, right? And I have the power to start my day off on the wrong foot and have a shitty day, or I have the right to make my day a good day, right? There's a saying that they say that you can start your day over at any time, right? So let's say you're going through your day and something happens and you kind of get off in a bad mood for a second, but you don't have to stay in that, you know? So every day when I get up, I'm consciously making a decision to turn my will and my life over, which is what? My thinking and my actions. All right. I'm going to act accordingly. I'm not going to go out and search for dope. I'm not going to go out and call my old dope man. I'm not going to go out and hang out with people that are getting high, right? These are decisions that I'm making that are going to help me to stay sober. But if I'm in my active addiction and I think I'm going to be able to make good choices and good decisions, I'm not making them clear-headedly, right? The substances are making the choices for me, you know? So when I started to work step 3 with my sponsors, the way she explained it to me is this. Every day when you get up, you're going to turn your will and your life over, your thinking and your actions. And throughout the day, there's going to be moments where you slip back into your past, into your old ways. And you're going to have to turn your will and life over. And the more you do it, and the more you do the right thing, make the right decisions, do the sober life, right? The easier it's going to get. It's almost like repetition, like building your muscles. If you lift weights, you do it rep, 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 rep to get those arms real muscular, right? It's the same way with staying sober. You stay sober by practice staying sober. You do the right thing by making good choices, right? You help others by helping others, and you keep doing that, and that's how you build it up, by repeating it over and over and over again. So it's not anything hard at all, right? It's just doing the same thing over and over again. Really, basically, that's all it is. Waking up and consciously making that decision. Today, I'm going to do the right thing. Today, I'm not going to go out. I'm not going to get high. I'm not going to go around people that are getting high. If you're in a treatment center and you're going to meetings, I'm going to go to the meetings. I'm going to actually listen and I'm going to hear what they have to say. Okay, if you're living at home and you and your husband are sober, today, me and husband are going to wake up. We're going to go hit a meeting, or we're going to hang out with some sober friends. You know, these are all decisions that we can make that'll help us on our road to recovery. But it starts inside of us. It starts with us changing our actions and our thinking. If I'm thinking about getting high all the time and I'm thinking about how I miss my old friends, then guess what? I'm going to want to go hang out with my old friends and I'm going to want to get high. But if I can start incorporating good practices in my life, right? Thinking of positive things that I can do with my life, hanging out with other people who are doing good things with their lives and staying positive, then guess what's going to happen for me? It's going to rub off on me, okay? I'm going to be affected by other people that are doing good things. If I'm hanging out with people that are doing the right thing, then I'm going to be inspired to do the right thing. That's why it's so important to make sure that you choose the people that you surround yourself wisely, man, because when you're trying to get sober, hanging on to those old people, places, and things, a recipe for disaster, and it will take you down through there every single time. Okay, every single time, you guys. It never fails. If you keep your old friends around you that are still getting high, and you think you're going to go hang out or go to a movie with your old friends that you used to get high with, and they're fucking high out of their minds, and you think that you're going to be able to continue going around them, hanging out with them, you're wrong. You're setting yourself up for failure. You know what I'm saying? Um, it's like it's a trick. It's your mind telling you that you can go out and hang out with these people that are still getting high and be able to be strong enough, because that's what we think it is, right? We think that we're weak. That's why we think we use drugs in the first place, but it has nothing to do with willpower at all. If it had to do anything with willpower, you guys, we would all have been sober a long time ago, because we would have willed our way into being sober. But it has nothing to do with that. Once you become addicted to drugs and alcohol, you lose that power of choice, and you are a slave to drugs and alcohol. Drugs and alcohol make the decisions for you. Okay, so let's move on. Okay, we found that all we needed to do was try. When we gave our best effort, the program worked for us as it has worked for countless others. Where did I leave off? Okay. We made the decision. It was not made for us by drugs, our families, our probation officer, judge, therapist, or doctor. We made it. For the first time since the first high, we have made a decision for ourselves. The word decision implies action. This decision is based on faith. We have only to believe that the miracle that we see working in the lives of clean addicts can happen to any addict with a desire to change. We simply realize there is a force for spiritual growth that can help us become more tolerant, patient, and useful in helping others. Yeah. Many of us have said, "Take my will in my life, guide me in my recovery, and show me how to live." The relief of letting go and letting God helps us develop a life that is worth living. Surrendering to the will of our higher power gets easier with daily practice. When we honestly try, it works. Many of us start our day with a simple request for guidance from our higher power. Although we know that turning it over works, we may still take our will and life back. We may even get angry because God permits it. At times during our recovery, the decision to ask for God's help is our greatest source of strength and courage. We cannot make this decision often enough. We surrender quietly and let the God of our understanding take care of us. At first, our heads reeled with the questions. What will happen when I turn my life over? Will I become perfect? We may have been more realistic than this. Some of us had to turn to an experienced NA member and ask, "What was it like for you?" The answer will vary from member to member. Most of us feel open-mindedness, willingness, and surrender are the keys to this step. Okay, so if you want to ask somebody that has turned their will over, what was it like for them? You know, and like I told you guys, and it just basically repeated what I said. I can turn my will and my life over in the morning, and by noon, I've snatched it back. And let me explain with you guys what I mean. I'll give you an example. Something happened today. So I was having a great day. I turned my will and my life over. I was in my positive headspace. I was in my recovery mode. You know what I mean? And I saw, this is always what takes me out of my fucking character. I saw a comment about my son in my held for review comments. And I was like, son of a bitch. You know what I mean? Of course, it didn't go through and it didn't get posted because they get held for review when they're inappropriate. But I was cussing, I was yelling, I called up my girlfriend and I was like, these motherfuckers. And then I was like, you're yelling at your friend, and she's like, she hasn't done anything. So easy and so simple to just slip backwards and think, you know what? Everything that I'm doing is for nothing. Why am I even staying sober? These people just want to see me fail. Blah, 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 right? And I go through these whole things in my head over and over and over again. And that will happen a couple times throughout the day where maybe I'm driving my car and somebody pulls out in front of me. And I'm talking, I go into automatic road rage, honking my horn, waving my arms. That's not very that's not very recovery-like, is it? That's not very positive. No, because I slipped back into my old ways. And it's just easy to do, you guys. It's because we're human. And every person that, goes to, here you go, baby, that goes to turn their will and their life over, guess what? Nobody's perfect. Nobody's going to turn their actions and their thinking over and maintain it all throughout the day. I'm telling you guys, it's just what it is, right? It's just being human. We're not perfect, and we don't have to be perfect. And you got to make sure that you're not being too hard on yourself, because Nate, it's opening up. Just give it a second. Okay. A lot of I wonder what's going on. Go get on your phone, Nate. You know you have your phone. Don't be a toot. Shh. Don't get out of the camera. You know better. Okay, mine's not doing it either, bud. I don't know why. Sorry, guys. Nate wants to play Roblox. I'm sorry it won't download it on my phone, but you can try it again. Okay, so let's keep going. Here we go. We have surrendered our will and our lives to the care of a power greater than ourselves. If we are thorough and sincere, we will notice a change for the better. Our fears are lessened and faith begins to grow as we learn the true meaning of surrender. We are no longer fighting fear, anger, guilt, self-pity, or depression. We realize that the power that brought us to this program is still with us and will continue to guide us if we allow it. We are slowly beginning to lose the paralyzing fear of hopelessness. The proof of this step is shown in the way we live. We have come to enjoy living clean and want more of the good things that the NA Fellowship holds for us. We know now that we cannot pause in our spiritual program. We want all that we can get. We are now ready for our first honest self-appraisal, and we begin with step 4. That's step 3. Do you see what I'm saying, you guys? Like, I feel like so many people, they think that they have to have this huge, crazy, I don't know what people think, but they think it's going to be so hard. All you have to do is make a decision. How many of you can do that? How many of you guys can make a decision to turn your will and your life over? Your thinking and your actions. It's that easy. And then you can move on to step 4. So if you're thinking, oh, I can't do the 12 steps, I'm never going to be able to do that. They're so hard. It's a lot of work. La-di-da-di-da-di, right? Don't think that. Don't talk down to yourself like that. Don't tell yourself that you can't do it. Because as long as you're telling yourself you can't do it, guess what's going to happen? You're not going to do it. You have to set your mind to it. I'm going to get sober. I'm going to do this. I'm going to get a new job. I'm going to take care of my finances and get myself together. You know, whatever you have that you want to take care of and that you want to set a goal, set that goal and smash that shit. But the 12 steps, honey, they're not hard and you can do them. And I'm telling you this, if you work them with a sponsor, you will not be disappointed. I promise you guys. You'll have a better understanding of your addiction. You'll also reach a place where your ego and pride, you just let it go and you finally admit, like, hey, you know what? I don't know everything. I need a little bit of help, and it's okay to need help. I used to be so ashamed of feeling like I needed to ask for help. Nowadays, guess what? I need help. I'll take all the help I can get. Give me the help. You know what I mean? I'm not ashamed to need anything. I'm not ashamed to ask for help. I'm not ashamed to say where I lack and things that I'm not good at. It's not, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with, you know, people look at things like they're weaknesses and they're not. You know, if you can identify things that you maybe aren't as strong as someone else is at, and then you can say, hey, you know, like sobriety. If you see someone and you're like, wow, that girl's really got her sobriety together. She seems so happy. She seems like she's got really strong recovery. She's got a house. She's got a car. She's got a job. Like, I really want that for myself. Well, then go up to that girl and ask her how she did it and say, can you teach me how to do that? There's nothing. We all have to stop being so worried about what other people are going to think and go up and ask somebody to help you out. Like, there's nothing to be ashamed of. That's how I got to where I'm at, by asking my sponsor, how did you do this? And she helped me. She taught me how to open a bank account. She helped me learn how to write checks. The only checks I ever wrote was checks that bounced. And it had been so long that I didn't even know how to do that. She helped me get my own savings account, you guys. So now I can put money back so that way I can have a savings for my son. You know, these are all things that if I hadn't asked for help, I wouldn't know how to do them. Same with your sobriety. If you don't ask for help because you don't know how to stay sober right now. So in order to learn how to stay sober, guess what you got to do? Ask somebody to help you learn. Say, hey, I don't know how to stay clean. Can you kind of show me how? Can you guide me? And then when they're trying to guide you and show you the way, you got to listen. Now you can't ask them to help you and then you don't listen. See, that is a lot of what happens when people want help. They'll ask for it, but guess what? They're not willing to take the suggestions. Okay? So you got to break through, man. You got to let go and you got to start listening and take the suggestions. You can't, obviously, we didn't know what was good for us, right? Because we all got ourselves into the messes we've gotten ourselves in addiction, right? So if I knew what was good for me, do you guys think that I would have ended up in prison? Hey, Noel, if I knew what was good for me, do you think my ass would have been shooting methamphetamine up? Hell no. If I knew what was good for me, I would have never got my son taken away. You know, I didn't know what was good for me, and I was making bad choices, guys. So, in order to learn what is good for you and to make good choices, you got to ask for help. And there's nothing to be ashamed of. Nothing to be ashamed of. And that step 3, it's all that it's about, you guys. All it is about is making a decision to turn your life and the things that you do in your life, your actions, over to your higher power, okay? Whatever your higher power might be, it's specific to you. That's it. And every morning before you get up, make that decision. And if you feel yourself slipping, because you're going to know when you're not doing the right thing. Hey, Ashley, what's up, girl? Welcome. You're going to know when you're not doing the right thing because you're going to feel it. And the longer you stay sober, the more that feeling is going to be there. Okay? It's that gut feeling. Y'all know what I'm talking about, where you know this isn't good. I shouldn't be doing this. I'll tell you guys about how I started tapping into that feeling, okay? Okay, I'm fixing to tell y'all some secrets, so y'all better listen up. My first year sober, I'm on Suboxone. My first year sober, I had this really good friend, and we were in our active addiction together. A lot of you guys know this already, but she was trying to get her life together, and she was trying to stay sober, but she was really struggling. And she would come over to my house, and she would ask me for Suboxone. And I would have that feeling in my stomach. You know, that feeling like I shouldn't give her Suboxone. This isn't good. This is basically like, even though I'm not doing drugs, like I might as well be relapsing because I'm doing shit that's like addict behavior by giving my medication to somebody else, right? And I would feel that feeling, but I would still do it. All right. And so I did that a couple times, and I kept feeling that feeling like this is going to lead me back out to my addiction. This is going to take me somewhere else. And she came over one day, and she had Xanax. And so I said, give me some of those Xanaxes. She gave me some of the Xanaxes, and I opened up my wallet, put them in my wallet. It's like 6 little pink 0.5s. I had them in my wallet. Well, my husband came home that night, and the next morning we had something going on, and he needed some money, and I had like $20 in my wallet. Without even thinking, I said, oh, I got $20 in my wallet. Go get it out of my wallet. So he goes over to my wallet. He opens it up, and he finds all those Xanaxes in my wallet. Now, I didn't take any because I was so afraid that if I took them when he was home, that he would know that I was high on them. So I was hiding them in my wallet for when he was gone. And he found them. He fucking busted me red-handed with a wallet full of Xanaxes. And he got so pissed, he fucking went and dumped them all in the toilet, yelling and screaming at me. You know how we do. You know how we do when we catch our boyfriends or girlfriends doing something behind our backs. I didn't take any. I didn't even get a chance to take them. And he was like, that's not the point. You were going to, you know? And so I didn't live that down for months. Months he held that against me, you know? But I felt that feeling when she was coming over in the first place to get Suboxone, you know? And I knew better. I knew better than what I was doing. I knew what I was doing was wrong, and I felt that feeling, and I still did it anyway. And so that's the feeling that I'm talking about. Like, you know that it ain't right. You know shit's going to go down. You know something's going to end up wrong, you know? And you're going to tap into that feeling the longer you stay sober and the more you do things right. Ash, we love you, girl. So all you got to do, you guys, is make a decision. Like I said, do it. You can do this. Anybody can do this. And I saw somebody come in and comment, and I don't even address these comments anymore. But you guys, AA, NA, any recovery program is not a cult. It's all about your decision. You choose what you want to do. Okay? Nobody makes you do anything in these programs. The decision is up to you. And it's all about tapping in to that consciousness inside of you. You know, that voice that was there before you ever got high or drunk. That voice that kind of tells you this is right, this is wrong. Because see, when we're getting high, guess what happens? We block out that voice. So we no longer have that pull. This is right. This is wrong. This is right. This is wrong. Because all we're focused on is getting high. Okay, so when we get sober, we get leveled out again and we get in the middle, kind of like a compass. Okay, so our compass is coming back to the middle where it's supposed to be. Points north, west, south, and east, right? And it actually goes in the right direction when we're sober. But when we're high, the compass is like, all back and forth, back and forth. That is exactly what it is. We are compasses. We're compasses. And that internal compass inside of you, when you are sober and you're not filling your body up with all that bullshit, then you are pointed in the right direction and you can make good choices. You know, let's say you're not even on drugs. Let's say that you are being influenced by people who are making bad decisions and they are throwing your compass off because you're going to the left with them, right? This is what I'm talking to you guys about. We all know what we need to be doing, right? And when you get sober, that stuff comes rushing back to you, you know, and you're going to, that pull to do the right thing is going to get stronger and stronger and stronger the longer you stay sober. I don't either, Ash. Listen, girl. Next thing you know, I'm going to be pouring everybody glasses of Kool-Aid and we're all going to go to the heavens together, okay? I can't even be bothered. You know what I mean? Like, if you think AA is a cult or any program like this is a cult, then honey, I don't know what's going on with you because you're weak-minded. You know what I mean? Like, we are encouraging you to do better with your life here. We're encouraging you to make good decisions and actually stay clean and sober. We don't want you doing things that are going to hurt yourself, you know? So that's all. Isn't that easy, you guys? Step 3. Step 3. Next week we do step 4. That's where like all the like kind of homework stuff starts out, and you start to like really dig deep. So the process going from step 1, step 2 to step 3 to step 4. Step 1, 2, and 3 are getting you prepared to take step 4, because when you take step 4, you're going to need to have a power greater than yourself to tap into, you know, because step 4 is going to be, you're going to be digging deep inside. You're going to be addressing things that you have tried to forget for many, many years, things that you have blocked out, you know. And so that's what step 1 through 3 are there for, to get you prepared to do step 4. So anyway, I love you guys. I can't talk anymore because the more I talk, the more my like voice wants to crack and go out. But
like that right now.
Yeah, it sound bad. I sound like a man, don't I? I love you, baby. My little boy is like looking at me like I'm crazy. But I love you guys. It's nothing to be afraid of. I promise you guys. I'm sorry. I'm going to show you guys next week when we do step 4 the easiest way to do it, so you don't have to be afraid. You don't have to worry about it, okay? Step 4 is not it. I promise you guys, I'm going to teach you guys the diagram, how to fill it out and everything. So that way you don't have to be worried about it, okay? Do not be worried. Do not let the horrors of step 4 deter you from working a program, because I'm telling you, it'll change your life. Please believe. I would never lie to y'all.
Mom, is this a game?
I think so. So I'm gonna get off here. I gotta get Nate in the shower. He's got school tomorrow.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do. He's got school tomorrow, and what's tomorrow? Tuesday? I don't know, buddy. Tomorrow's Tuesday, and I have a video that's uploading right now. It'll be up tomorrow, and then on Wednesday we have a special guest coming on, Splinter from Prison POV. So if you guys are not already subscribed to Prison POV, please go over there and check out his channel. His name is Chris. We call him Splinter, and his channel is Prison POV, okay? He's a really, really, really good guy, and he's going to come on and share about the struggles that he's been having with his recovery lately, and he is on maintenance medication, so y'all don't want to miss it, okay? All right, guys, I love y'all. I'm going to go drink some hot tea and get Nate in the bath time, and I'll see you guys tomorrow, okay? I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you guys understand that making a decision to turn your will and your life over, making the decision to turn your thinking and your actions over is not difficult. You can do it. And when you do it, then you're going to tap into that compass, that moral compass that pulls you left or right, you know, to do the right thing, okay? I love you guys. You can do this. Don't be afraid of the 12 steps. Don't be afraid of a program that's going to help you better your life, okay? All right, guys. Love y'all. Good night.
Poopy.
Nate says good night, Poopy.
Because you're butthead.
I'm a butthead.
No,
oh, man.